Dr. Stone, episode 20 recap. We start off with simultaneous meetings between Senku and his crew and Hyoga and Tsukasa. And we find out that both sides agree that fighting during winter is a bad idea. And then Senku gets started on the cell phone by making cotton candy. So, what did you like? Well, yeah. Right at the beginning, I love how they have when Gin starts getting into character, thinking the way that a particular person would think, as opposed to just general people mentalism. He actually changes his voice to do an impression, and I love how the animators change his face to be the person that he's imitating. Um, and I also really like how that's kind of like a little hidden Chekhov's gun. Then we get another line of imitation, which is when Chrome starts imitating the old guy's face when he's getting up in Senku's business about when are we gonna get started? When are we gonna get started? I'm so excited. Um, and yeah, we see a lot of um, bonding between Chrome and the older guy. I forgot his name. I have it written down here somewhere. Um, One thing that I really like is the show taught me how cool cotton candy machines were. I just didn't know what a cotton candy machine was. It's really neat. I love anything that uses centrifugal force to like do something, and the fact that it uses just an alteration of gravity to shove something through a hole is it's neat. It's just a really cool contraption, like aside from what they use it for in the show, which I do really like the idea of using a cotton candy machine to make golden thread. But just cotton candy machines are cool, dude. I had no clue until I watched this show. Um, I like how when they're talking about running away, Kohaku's inner fire can inspire even a very scared Ginro. Ginro has the whole line about how he thought that they were just gonna up and leave if anything bad was gonna happen, and then Kohaku kind of steps up and says, "No one in this village would ever think about leaving." And then Ginro's like, "Oh yeah, of course," but I mean, Ginro's kind of a scumbag. I've already said that before on the show. You shouldn't really be looking up to him. I think that that was inserted there because it shows that Kohaku is a leader whether or not she realizes it or not. And I think it's a neat touch. It's good characterization for both of them. And then something that I didn't notice until watching the episode this time around is when Hamura is up in the tree staring at the cotton candy that Senku made for her, she finally takes a lick of it, and festival music starts playing. And I never picked up on that audio cue before, and it is devastating for how small it is. The the loss of self that takes place in this show sometimes gets lost on people, and we'll get more into that once the cell phones are created, or once the cell phone is created. But just the sheer sadness of having lost everything, it really comes out just in that very small, very subtle and missable audio sound. It's I don't know. It's powerful. The show does powerful well. So we've got oh my god. So they figure out that they need to make their cotton candy's coming out clumpy, and they don't want clumpy thread. So they're trying to figure out different solutions of how to make the thing spin more constantly. And Kohaku recommends one of the most anime solutions ever, where she says, "Oh, the two brothers can just use their brotherly bond and it'll work out perfectly fine." And then the two brothers just come up and are like, are you crazy? Did you is something wrong with your head? Why would you think that would work?" And I like how in the middle of this anime, someone comes up with a solution that would work in any other anime, like Gurren Lagann. The brotherly bond is the solution to fucking everything. And in the middle of this, I like how not even scientifically minded people are like, can you start thinking of a real solution? Like, I get that we're in an anime, but it's not that kind of anime. And I don't know. I think it's good writing. It's a good joke for sure. And then as they're talking about it, as they're talking about that problem, Chrome gets this great little bit where he's thinking and thinking and thinking, and then you see like the spark go off in his head, and just the way it's conveyed is really good. But then he immediately grabs Kawaki. That's old dude's name, I think. He immediately grabs Kawaki, tells him something, and then old dude does the whole rip off his clothes in excitement, but he does like a full on like Super Saiyan level 4 transformation where like he sends out a shockwave, it knocks everybody down, and then we get to see his villain face for the first time, and he's got a pretty crazy villain face. He can turn his eyes red, he can make the sky go black. He's awesome. And we see that this excitement is all over a forever spinning cotton candy maker, which I think rolls off the tongue better than water wheel. Personally, I think that it sounds better. And I like how Senku is impressed by the water wheel, but I think it's cute because you kind of realize that he's getting the same spark of ingenuity that Chrome did when Chrome thought to build the water wheel. Senku hadn't really thought about building a water wheel, but then he realizes, oh, we've got this, and I just now made gears 3 days ago. We have an electric generator. And I think that that's really neat, that that's what he's being taken back by at first, is that he has this new tool that he didn't think he'd really have in the meantime while he's building the cell phone. And so I like how I guess I enjoy what I'm trying to say is I enjoyed the juxtaposition of Chrome having the inspiration and then being all proud of himself, and then Senku having the inspiration of the fact that you're stopping here is amazing, but I'm gonna take you to the moon. And I like that. I like how they can get inspiration from each other. Like, Senku's clearly the master, and Chrome is very clearly the student in this relationship. And it's not even a student has surpassed the master, it's they're just working together because that's how community and scientific progress works, is if you don't have people to bounce ideas off of, you won't find all of the ideas. So gold star. That is how the scientific community works. And then finally, we get the end frame of Senku has put all of his pieces together. He grabs a wire in each hand and connects them, and there's this really cool shot of electricity arcing all the way across the screen, and Senku's kneeling to put the wires together, and it's this really, really cool Electro Wizard shot, and it's good. This whole episode's fun. It's a release of tension, which I like. There's nothing to not like in this episode. It's all good. Spoilers? Not really, I guess. Like, the energy generator. I guess the spoilers in this episode is just how things are going to be working. Like, we start hearing a lot more from Chrome in advancing Senku's thought processes from this point on. And then I guess on Sorry Again, being able to do the impressions is a really good spoiler, because obviously phones are coming out, so if you have someone who can impersonate someone's voice, then that is not only do you have the phones as a way of communicating, but you also have that person on one end of the phone being able to lie about who they are, which is something that you can only do in this primitive world through the phones. I think that's cool. It's good. It's a good setup. That would be the little Chekhov's gun I was talking about earlier on with Gin. And I really like that they gave Gin this quirky little ability. It's not superhuman or anything, so calling it an ability seems a bit grandiose, but I like that he has something to do. Gin as like a military advisor is really cool. Him as an advisor on like the day-to-day goings on in the Kingdom of Science makes a lot of sense. I like that as an advisor he's having actual like tasks to complete as opposed to just overseeing and giving his 2 cents about things. So that leads us back to the big takeaway, which is I'm not really sure. I guess keep your humanity in all things. Hang on, I missed one of my points that I liked. Back to things that I liked, because this is actually going to tie into my overall big takeaway. Oh my god, I'm floundering. This is falling apart. Don't worry, I'm gonna finish strong. We can figure this out. So, Senku and Gin are I like getting to see them being the good guys, because we get so much of them like scheming behind their villain faces and always figuring out like the most brutal and efficient strategy to get whatever they want to be done. And when Senku says that they're making a cotton candy machine and he doesn't want to ruin all of their gold, so they need to test out their machine with cotton candy, I love how Gin just goes along with it because they know it's going to make the entire village happy. It's going to give them something that they literally could never have before. And I think that the scene that has both Ansari Gin and Senku in frame, and they're both just smiling and giving... I love shouting that they get into their villain face, but we get to see what the good guy face for Senku and the compassionate face for Ansari Gin looks like. And I like that this show says that you can't just live behind the villain face like Tsukasa and Hyoga do. That will actually just drive you crazy. You need to be helpful and enjoy other people enjoying things to be a real person and be a real human. And that's the big takeaway, is that having a villain face is perfectly okay. Do the things you want to do in the way that you want to do it, but in the end, if you're not coming back to making the world a better place or the lives around you better or more meaningful somehow, then you're not really going to be accomplishing a whole lot. So drop the villain face, smile, and help some people out, man. Alright, we'll end it there.